Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Lam, sitting in for Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Authorities have arrested the 2 suspects in last month's home shooting that left a family of 6 dead. Authorities say both the suspects and some family members are gang members. Authorities in Southern California were also busy making arrests. A multi-agency operation targeting human trafficking led to hundreds of arrests and several victims rescued. And federal authorities recently arrested a California doctor for being present at the U.S. Capitol. He helped treat Ashley Babbitt after she was fatally shot. Tulare County authorities announced the arrest of 2 suspects in last month's home shooting that left 6 dead. Authorities say the suspects are gang members.
Authorities have arrested 2 gang members suspected in the massacre of 6 people last month.
Today, I would like to announce the arrest of 35-year-old Angel Uriati of Goshen and 25-year-old Noah Beard of Isaiah.
The sheriff said the arrests stemmed from Operation Nightmare. It involved multiple search warrants at state prisons holding gang members. Boudreaux said Beard was taken into custody without incident, and Uriarte was undergoing surgery after being wounded in a shootout with federal agents. The Tulare County District Attorney's Office charged both suspects with 6 counts of murder and other crimes. The shootings took place on January 16th in rural Goshen, a community of 3,000 people in the San Joaquin Valley.
In total that day, 6 lives were taken. During the investigation, as I had indicated, this was clearly not a random act of violence. This family was targeted by cold-blooded killers.
Boudreaux added that the suspects and 2 members of the victim's family have a long history of gang violence.
Rivalry gangs between the Norteños and the Sureños, which we have all heard of many, many times. The 2 members of the Perez family, the victim's family, were well-known, validated Sureños.
He says the motive for the shooting is not exactly clear, but the town of Goshen, where the victims lived, is known for being a Norteño-held area.
We must remember that these are criminals with guns, not innocent people with guns, not law-abiding citizens with guns. These are criminals with guns. I believe as a direct result, guns crossing over an unsecure border.
The Goshen shooting was part of a violent and deadly January in California.
Speaking of arrests, law enforcement agencies held a week-long operation targeting human trafficking in Southern California. The multi-agency operation included federal, state, and local efforts.
Over 100 federal, state, and local agencies and task forces came together in California in an operation known as Reclaim and Rebuild. It's aimed at combating human trafficking. The statewide operation made hundreds of arrests and rescued several victims in the week-long operation.
For the 2023 Operation Reclaim Rebuild, we yielded significant results. There were 125 adults rescued. There were 6 sexually exploited children rescued. There were 38 suspected sex traffickers and exploiters arrested. And there were 197 sex buyers arrested. In total, there were 368 criminal arrests made during this week-long operation.
The value of these operations was that the impact was not just here locally but across the state. Then the Operation Reclaim Rebuild focused their mission on areas of town and regions such as major street boulevards, motels that were plagued with prostitution, gangs, and narcotic activity.
Chief Moore went on to say how law enforcement used to view sex workers in a criminal manner. But that has changed as they learn most are victims being forced or coerced.
Today, our effort is to look at them as what they are, which is victims. They're being exploited, sometimes by force, by threat of death, other times by coercion of threats of violence against their family, by kidnapping them and taking them out of the environment and isolating them away from any other form of support. They become dependent on that exploiter.
In attendance were NGOs such as Zoe International. CEO David Cox said the organization has been combating sex trafficking for 20 years internationally and 10 years locally. Cox went on to say how escaping the life, as is commonly referred to, is not only difficult, but life-threatening as well for the victim.
Some of our youth and adults, they've been pistol whipped. Some have jumped out of moving vehicles just to escape. Some have been chased down and beaten. I myself saw a 14-year-old, she looked about 14, running for her life down the streets of LA from traffickers. Some have had their homes shot at by traffickers. I know at Zoe we have helped relocate families and the victim child for their own safety. Some are missing and some are killed.
That's where organizations like Zoe come in, giving victims the ongoing help and support that they need, such as providing advocacy services. For example, Zoe is able to provide services within 90 minutes anywhere in LA County when a child is recovered. Although Operation Reclaim and Rebuild happens once a year, several of the law enforcement agencies present have human trafficking task forces that operate year-round.
A California doctor was recently arrested by the FBI for his time at the U.S. Capitol. He helped treat Ashley Babbitt after she was fatally shot outside the House of Representatives. 42-year-old Dr. Austin Brennan Harris of Granada Hills was arrested by the FBI on January 25th for his time at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Harris had treated the mortally wounded Ashley Babbitt after she was shot outside the House of Representatives. Harris was charged in a criminal complaint in Washington, D.C., with knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds without authority, and disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds. He was also charged with disorderly conduct and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. All charges are misdemeanors. Harris is a board-certified cardiothoracic anesthesiologist. He operates the Neural Relief Ketamine and Infusion Therapy in Sherman Oaks, California. Harris treated Babbitt's gunshot wound for 4 minutes after U.S. Capitol Police Michael Byrd shot her. When Babbitt fell from the window frame she was climbing into, Harris stepped forward from the hallway crowd to provide aid. Harris was on his knees checking Babbitt's upper chest wound when a U.S. Capitol Police bicycle officer reached down and grabbed him by the shoulders. The officer wrestled Harris away from Babbitt, grabbed him by the jacket, and shoved him down the hallway. According to the statement of facts filed by the U.S. Department of Justice, Harris entered the Capitol through the Senate wing doors and headed for the crypt. If convicted, Harris is facing a sentence of up to 1 year in jail. Homelessness in the city of Los Angeles is on the rise. A recent survey found that certain hotspots increased despite official numbers showing a decrease of unsheltered persons in those same areas.
A recent study by the RAND Corporation, a nonprofit public policy research organization, revealed an 18% increase in homeless people in certain Los Angeles neighborhoods. Published on January 26, the survey aimed, quote, to better inform the development of effective homelessness policy. The RAND research team found homelessness in Hollywood increased by 14.5%, Skid Row by 13%, and Venice by 32%. But contradictory to RAND's research, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA, found homelessness decreased in Venice, Skid Row, and Hollywood during its annual 3-day point-in-time homeless count. LAHSA found that overall, LA County had more than 69,000 homeless people in 2022. This is a 4% rise from 2020. In the city of LA, about 43,000 homeless were recorded in 2022. This is up nearly 2% from 2020. Given the differing results, both RAND and LAHSA acknowledged their differing methodologies. RAND's survey was conducted over the course of a year from September 2021 to October 2022. Its team consisted of separate day shifts. Researchers approached unsheltered people and made an offer to participate in a 10-minute survey for $5. Whereas LAHSA's point-in-time count involved volunteers counting the homeless population they could visibly see on the streets over 3 nights. By the end of the study, the RAND team concluded that policymakers should concentrate on housing solutions that incorporate privacy and autonomy, and that expanding congregate shelter capacity may not be effective in reducing the unsheltered population. Despite the differing results, LAHAS staff said it welcomes the data from the RAND study as it provides valuable information about the homeless population in the areas studied. The RAND research was coincidentally released on the same day LAHAS's 2023 point-in-time count wrapped up on January 26th. Officials say results from this year's count will be ready in late spring or summer.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. State lawmakers are pushing for more taxes. A new proposal includes taxing the state's rich even after they move to another state or country. A recent study found that 2 California cities top the list of places homebuyers are looking to leave. The study also looked at where people are moving to. And Samsung, Apple's biggest rival, recently unveiled its newest smartphones. The latest models include battery and camera upgrades. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Lam. Executives at Google set a subdued tone on a call with investors, promising an extended period of belt tightening. NTD's Sean Marshall gives us some details on the call and Google's future outlook.
Google parent company Alphabet Incorporated on Thursday posted a fourth-quarter profit and sales below the hopeful expectations of Wall Street. A decline in online ad spending and competition from rivals like Microsoft, with its recent AI chatbot implementation, have weighed heavily on the search giant. While overall revenue grew, advertising revenue fell by 4%, and revenue at YouTube declined 8% year over year. But Google CEO Sundar Pichai mentioned that YouTube Shorts viewership has been growing.
Viewership is growing rapidly, 50 billion plus daily views, up from 30 billion last spring. On YouTube TV, we're building the ability for subscribers to, for example, watch multiple screens at once.
Pichai also spoke about the future growth of connections with the NFL.
Every YouTube viewer who's interested in the NFL can now have one-click access to the full offering of Sunday Ticket as an add-on package on YouTube TV subscription and as a standalone offering on primetime channels. This will be the first time that Sunday Ticket is actually available a la carte for fans.
As for Google's artificial intelligence outlook, the company has been cautious to disclose its AI capabilities to the public. This comes after fallout over a former employee's claim that Google's chatbot was sentient. Though they have revealed information on AI projects, such as a music generation program capable of generating music from text descriptions, Pichai also mentioned that in the coming weeks and months, people will be able to interact directly with the chatbot search function in experimental and innovative ways. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
California Democrats are pushing for a new tax for the state's wealthiest residents. The proposed tax includes the ability to tax them even after they've left the state, or even after they move out of the country.
A California assemblyman proposed the Wealth Tax Act to create a new tax for the state's wealthiest residents. The act consists of Assembly Bill 259 and Assembly Constitutional Amendment 3. During a press conference last month, the act's author, Democratic Assemblyman Alex Lee, called the idea a way, quote, to bring tax justice. The wealth tax would impose an annual worldwide net worth tax of 1.5% on net worth above $1 billion and 1% above $50 million. According to the bill, worldwide wealth does not include real estate held directly by the taxpayer, but it does extend to real estate or tangible personal property held indirectly through a partnership or a trust. It also includes things like stocks or art collections. The new tax includes provisions that would allow California to continue taxing former residents who have moved abroad or relocated to another state. This comes amid an exodus to red states that tend to have lower taxes. Jared Walczak, vice president of state projects for the think tank Tax Foundation, had a critical take on the proposal. Walczak said proponents sometimes argue that wealth taxes are small and that the rich can afford them. But because the rates are on net worth, not on income, they cut deeply into investment returns to the detriment of the broader economy. Other opponents of the idea say it's the wrong solution and only encourages more people to leave the state. Rob Lapsley, president of the California Business Roundtable, issued a statement in response to the wealth tax proposal, saying that a wealth tax will only further destabilize our budget system. Further relying on this volatile and highly mobile tax base would only increase the boom-bust cycles that define our budget. California's worldwide wealth tax proposal came as other blue states floated similar ideas to target the rich. Last month, lawmakers in Connecticut, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Minnesota, New York, and Washington also proposed bills that include plans such as taxing assets, lowering the threshold for estate taxes, and raising rates for higher earners. Meanwhile, California's AB 259 is expected to be heard in committee February 19th.
A national real estate company reported that people wanted to relocate to more affordable areas. Its most recent study found that San Francisco and Los Angeles were the two top cities people wanted to leave at the end of 2022.
San Francisco and Los Angeles topped the list of cities that people wanted to leave at the end of 2022. That's according to Redfin, a national real estate company. San Diego and Las Vegas are the most popular destinations for Los Angeles residents looking to relocate, followed by Phoenix, Arizona, and Seattle, Washington. Home prices in these cities are lower compared to Los Angeles. Sacramento was the most searched destination for home buyers, but the state of California was the top state home buyers looking to leave. That's followed by New York, the District of Columbia, Massachusetts, and Illinois. According to data from the Public Policy Institute of California and the Census Bureau, about 600,000 people have moved out of California since the pandemic. In 2022, California lost another 343,000 residents. Texas recorded the largest gain in population last year. Florida, meanwhile, was the fastest growing with an increase rate of 1.9%. Other states that prospective home buyers searched for the most include Tennessee, North Carolina, and Arizona. Redfin reported that elevated mortgage rates, still high home prices, and economic uncertainty are driving people, especially remote workers, to more affordable areas.
Apple's rival, Samsung, has unveiled its latest generation of high-end smartphones, S23. The phones come with battery life upgrades and a big boost in camera performance.
As the battle between Apple and Samsung rages on, the latter unveiled its latest line in Apple's backyard. Samsung's Galaxy Unpacked launch event took place February 1st in San Francisco's historic Masonic Auditorium. The new line of Galaxy S23 phones is complete with new and improved cameras and performance upgrades.
And this year, the Galaxy S23 and S23 Plus take cues from this groundbreaking design, creating a cohesive look and feel across the series. From design to power to intelligence, the elements of Ultra come together in our best camera yet.
The Galaxy S23 Ultra now comes with a 200-megapixel camera sensor and a brighter, more battery-efficient display.
Definitely to the next level. So essentially doubling the amount of pixels, the amount of information that could come in the camera, going from 108 megapixels to 200. And then they up the ante on artificial intelligence. It has a post-processing feature that can make it look even better on long shots, which, you can't have a big lens in a smartphone. You can in a DSLR. The other part is night photography, okay? You're out with your friends, you're having fun, but just a lot more vivid without the jaggies and without it being blurry.
It also has an increased baseline storage of 256 gigabytes. The S23 Ultra will cost $1199 when it goes on sale on February 17th. Samsung's Galaxy S23 and S23 Plus phones are not as powerful as the Ultra, but they do come with camera and battery upgrades and are cheaper at $799 and $999 respectively.
These cameras combine incredible hardware and innovative software to take your photos and videos to the next level. The Galaxy S23 and S23 Plus bring you a 50-megapixel wide camera. And the Galaxy S23 Ultra provides our highest resolution with a 200-megapixel camera. Powered by a revolutionary image sensor, you can enjoy a groundbreaking professional camera experience and take advantage of everything from Super HDR to our AI camera, and that's across the entire Galaxy S23 series.
All the phones come in 2 new colors, lavender and green. The event also unveiled an Ultra version of the Galaxy Book laptop. It's geared toward creatives and other business professionals. It doesn't have a release date yet. This was the first in-person launch event Samsung has hosted since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic nearly 3 years ago.
An actress who was known for her role in a popular TV series passed away earlier this week. Her fans left flowers on her Hollywood Walk of Fame star to honor her. Flowers were laid to honor Cindy Williams on January 31st at the actor's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In a statement to AP News, her children said she passed away at the age of 75 in Los Angeles on January 25th following a brief illness. Williams, who was born in Los Angeles, began her career acting in TV commercials before landing roles in films directed by George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola. She and Penny Marshall first appeared as Shirley Feeney and Laverne DeFazio in the popular Happy Days series in 1975. Laverne and Shirley followed as a spin-off and became one of the most popular TV shows of the 1970s and 1980s.
I remember going there watching Laverne and Shirley with my mom and everything, and then American Graffiti Part 1 and 2. I mean, my mom still watches the reruns all the time. So matter of fact, she was doing the dance. God, I can't remember it. I'm not gonna do it, but I remember it.
When I watched the show, I just remember their dynamic relationship. It was so playful, and it just had like a neighborhood humor is what I want to say. And they were just great. Their banter was terrific. I really loved the show.
They were a perfect team, and you couldn't ask for a better team and better actresses to play the parts. They really complimented each other.
Last year, Williams appeared in a one-woman stage show full of stories from her career, Me, Myself, and Shirley, at a theater in Palm Springs, California, near her home in Desert Hot Springs. Williams was married to singer Bill Hudson from 1982 until 2000. They had 2 children together. That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like for you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-Today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. You can send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lamb. Have a wonderful weekend.